Oh, Jev, footy's back. The Sunday roast is back. We went to 4 games this weekend, so we're the most qualified people in Australia to talk about these games.
Das, the Blues are the Hawks are the Saints and the Showies are fucking awesome and the Suns are probably even better. You know where to find us at 100k Sports, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. Like, subscribe, send to a mate. Get on board this year. Let's roast.
It's an awesome show, Jev, and please subscribe. Enjoy.
And now, 100k Sports and PointsBet presents the Sunday Roast.
Welcome back to the Sunday Roast, the show that celebrates the winners and roasts the losers. Joining me as always, this show is powered by PointsBet, StatMate, all our best mates. Joining me as always, Darcy Ballard, Dobe. How are you, brother?
Jev, it is good to finally be back. The roast is back, and we have a shit ton of roasting to do. But we want to start off by saying, me and you lead the country and the world to being the most amount of AFL games so far this year. We went to 4. We couldn't be at the GWS game just because logistically it's impossible. We couldn't go there and then straight to Brisbane. But we've been to 4 games. We've been to the most in Australia. So I feel we're the most qualified to talk about the games because we were there. We saw it right in front of us. So let's start off with a bang, Jev. Let's start off with Saints and Pies. Wherever you want to go with it, let's go. Let's start roasting.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. The Saints fucked around and found out, Dars. You begged the AFL, begged them, can we please, Miss Andrew Dillon, can we have Collingwood on opening round? Oh, you want to show off your new toys? Please. You got what you wanted and you let Nick Dacos run around and have 41 touches. You kicked 66 points and you look the exact same as you have for the last 10 years. Nothing's changed. Same old St Kilda. They embarrass themselves, unfortunately, Dars. Dane Swan always says this. Other teams' grand finals are just Collingwood Sundays. Just round 2 for Collingwood. Just round 5 for Collingwood are other teams' grand finals. That was the biggest game since the 2010 grand final for the Saints. And that was just Collingwood's first preseason game as a senior 23. That's the first time they've all got together since the prelim, got together, and they gave you the belt. They gave you the absolute belt. They all just did what they wanted, ran around, made it so easy for the Pies to win. You play stupid games, Dust, you win stupid prizes. I'm out on St Kilda. I don't give a fuck. They are not kicking enough goals this year. I still think they might finish 9th or 10th. They'll be better than some teams, but anyone that has them in the top 8, no, thank you. They are not good enough. Dust.
The teams that I've looked at, I've had a bad week. So let's just start with that. I've had a bad week. I've had a bad prediction week, but again, it's only opening round. But Jev, I love the start. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You know what's another good one? Don't get beaten by what you fucking know. How about that? You cannot let Nick Dacos do what he wants. You just can't. We just keep saying, and we say that Ross Lyon's arguably the best coach in the league. What is he doing? I just can't believe that you had Windhager, who we say has done the best apprenticeship in football, and yes, potentially will get off the chain when he's not tagging as much this year. There is one player you cannot let get the ball, and that is Nick Dacos. He almost kicked an amazing goal, first goal of the game, hit the post. He was just running up and back, doing whatever he wanted, unchecked, unscathed, and he's the only player that just brings them back into it. When he gets the ball going again, then Jordan Ngoe gets on the end of some goals. Just everything comes from Nick Dacos. Then when he gets it, the nifty little handballs, then Scott Pendlebury starts walking through tackles. It all starts with Nick. And then when he starts to get going, then Josh starts to get going. Then they look for each other. You can't let your 2 best kickers, you can't let the 2 best kickers from the opposite team get their hands on it. And that's what they did. So the Saints did dog it in that category, Jev. We're going to start talking about Nass as well.
Who do they think they've got? Do they think he's Ablett Jr. and Ablett Sr. at the same time? What were they doing? I'm sorry. What were they doing? Or they just need 2 Nasses, which is impossible. They didn't play out the goal square. They couldn't get it to him. They'd put him at halfback. They wouldn't give it to him. He'd be at centre bounces, but I don't know. Did that $2 million contract get to his head a little bit? That wasn't the same hungry bloke I saw last year. Did kick the 1 goal. It was good, but that was underwhelming. Harry Perriman's a good tagger, and he made it hard for him, but They stopped him way too easy. Way too easy. Like what I thought Flanders and these blokes would just be able to get the ball constantly to Nass in that forward line. And he didn't have to play on ball or halfback to get it to their forwards. No, they just couldn't get it to him when he went forward. He didn't get enough of it when he was in the middle. Didn't really get it when he was halfback. They'd like, oh, we've got prime Ablett Jr. and Ablett Sr. at the same time. Nah, let's just calm down a bit. I drank all the Nass Kool-Aid and I probably still will, but watching yesterday, I was extremely underwhelmed, Das. Extremely underwhelmed. And didn't that Nass Dacos conversation that was happening last week be put to bed in about 2 hours? That is done now for the year. That is done for at least 12 weeks. It'll take Nass 12 weeks to be able to have that conversation again. So I was underwhelmed, Das. What about you?
Yeah, I just don't think they played him right. And then when he was deep, they weren't getting the ball into him. And that's why he was getting visibly frustrated. But this has just put a massive target on his back for the entire year now. It's like teams go after him, make him earn it. And he will have his games. He will have his games where he comes and turns it on. But you can't let him, as he did all last year, just run through unchecked, unscathed.
Be physical with him. And you'll annoy the fuck out of him. Guys,
it has to be a team tag as well. Like as soon as he comes past, check him, give him a bit of body. What I will say about the Saints though, and I'll say it on both, like credit to Collingwood. Again, this is what they do. They just win. Everyone was against them, and they just came out and they just had a really good performance. Jamie Elliott didn't play his best, hit the scoreboard in the last. But I will say for the Saints, it was a very scrappy game. Both sides, either side didn't have a lot of real fluent ball movement. Like, how many good passages of play do you reckon the Saints had yesterday? Like, probably 5 minutes of full, end-to-end. A lot was chipping around the ground. Thought Jack Silvani had a really good game. He played really well, held his own, spoiled really well. You see him and Wilkie, the way that they're going to try and move with each other. Again, we'll get into Brisbane later, but like a Froggy Lester, Harris Andrews, one comes up, one sits behind. So they were moving really well together. Jack Higgins couldn't get his hands on it. Liam Ryan couldn't finish that.
Did Jack Higgins do a preseason? He was horrible. He was horrible. I just had a bit of a shocker. Like Braden Maynard or whoever he was playing on, they're good players. Isaac Quaney, they're hard to get a kick on, but oh man, he was nowhere near it. I don't know if he was a bit sore in preseason or
I definitely think St Kilda fans, they were ready to go. And I think Ross goes back and is like, this isn't the brand of footy that we've been trying to train. Very scrappy. So I'm excited to see how they rebound the next few weeks. But again, Collingwood, this is the number one thing that you wanted. If you got done, then we're talking Nick Dacos to Tassie. We're talking the club's in a rebuild now. We're going to go way over the top. We're going to say the Saints are for real. So this has just put the lid very firmly on the Saints train. So let's see how many fans are going to rock up next week. Yep. But we must say the biggest pop all day was when Tom De Koning went near it. He took a mark in the back line in the first quarter, and he was like he was lining up for his 10th at the forward end.
Like Leo Barry, grand final day. That's how they celebrated when he took a mark. Just to contest. Das, we're going to talk later about a guy that played the perfect game of football. Another guy played the perfect game of football in this game. Scott Pendlebury played the perfect game of football. Mitch Glew tweeted, so Scott Pendlebury trained his entire 21st preseason as a halfback. First game of the year, he sits the first 20 minutes on the bench, rolls forward, and he has his first ever 5-goal assist match in a game. Game 426, 10 of his 26 disposals were score involvements, and he played a team low 55% time on ground. So in 55% of time on ground, he had 26 disposals, 10 score involvements, 5 direct goal assists. He was perfect what he did. Like perfect. Credit to him, because I did not miss him after last year's prelim. I thought he was selfish if he did his calf in the warm-up. I thought he cost him a prelim final. Credit to him. If you're going to play like that, and he will last the whole year playing like that, and some games there'll be injuries, and he'll have to play 80% game time. But if he's just going to be low minutes, high impact, like Dane Swan used to be. Remember, he just used to run around 4-minute bursts, then go sit on the bench 5 minutes, 4 minutes. If he's going to do that, man, he's going to just age so well in this league. So credit to him. Credit where it's due.
Maximum impact, maximum damage.
Yeah.
And this is why I really like not having the sub. Like, imagine if you are having a little bit of a shocker and then you get pulled. But the ability to just have him there and you can just keep bringing him in and out. You don't have to worry about trying to get some fresh legs on. So I love that.
Yeah.
But we're going to start a new segment this year. I don't know, I don't know exactly like a title for it, Jev. But we saw some butchering on the weekend, and I've got 2 nominations for this game: McRae and Darcy Wilson. I love
am
Darcy
selling
Wilson. He can
all
run.
Darcy Wilson stocks.
Yeah, he can run like a horse.
Yeah.
He'll run up and down. He absolutely murdered the football. I saw a physio run out with a defib when the ball went over the fence. They tried to bring it back. He was murdering footballs. He was trying to kick him off the ground, thought he was Luis Suarez. Pick it up. It was just, that wasn't the game. That was not the game.
Everyone was so impressed. The shape he came back to preseason. He was huge. He was jacked. All this stuff. Did bro touch the footy? Man, he was murdering the ball. I am selling my stock. I'm happily selling my stock. I thought I was going to be all in, and it's at an all-time high to sell. I'm selling. I'm out. His kicking was atrocious. I just don't think he could kick. I'm sorry. It was atrocious.
Before we move on, now we will say most of our Gold Rush odds on the pod when we get all them from Saturday, but we just want to say Ruckman's still kicking goals. Also, we'll quickly touch on Ron Marshall wasn't able to really get into the game as much. Weren't able to kick in the ball. We will say Cooper Sharman had a crack, but he fumbled a bit, like dropped a lot of marks. Like I'm sure he would have loved to have taken some of those set shots back.
We sat in front of Cooper Sharman's parents. His mum is an absolute angel. They were the nicest people, and he had the biggest almost game of all time. He looked so athletic. He was flying around, all that stuff. But man, he got his hands to a lot. Anyway, stiff.
Yeah, very stiff. But again, Saints supporters, let us know what you reckon. I'd be very disappointed in that. You had a lot of chances where you could really crack the whip, and you didn't take it. So you pulled your chances. And
shout out Dan Houston. Ripped last year, has 28 in his first game of the season. That's the Dan Houston Collingwood supporters want to see this year. And you got to shout out Lockie Schultz. He got put through the ringer for a couple of years. He's a workhorse, isn't he? Watching him live, he's a workhorse. He's tough. He gets on the end of them. Credit to him. Another one. A lot of the AFL gave up on Dan Houston. A lot of the AFL gave up on Lockie Schultz. Credit to those boys yesterday. They were great. That was just Collingwood's first preseason game, and that was St Kilda's grand final, and they fucking gave him the belt. Let's move on to the 100K Cup, Das. Swans Carlton. Oh, man. What an open to the season. We were there. It felt big. It was big. It was fun. We've both taken notes. Let's do our notes from the first half. Where do you want to go? We'll go 1 for 1 in notes. We'll converse. But let's talk Swans Carlton.
We'll start off. Fantastic weekend. We get to Sydney. I'm on one crutch now, and you've almost killed me. You're like, we're only staying over there. I'm hobbling for like 2.5 Ks on the one peg. Anyway, we go around. We have a good day, but we get there. So this roast is going to be a little bit different because we were just taking dot point notes. There's some that I'm actually not allowed to read out because my heart was, I think, you'd be the exact same. I think we're going to have similar notes. But we started off, we finally get to the SCG. We got fantastic seats. It's one of the coolest stadiums to go to. And I don't remember a game. This was the hottest start to a game out of all of them. Everyone was just trying to go a million miles an hour. No one could get their hands on it. They were just trying to fight fire with fire. If you had a turnover, it's going up the other end and then back. Like, no one could breathe. So that was the first initial thoughts. Then we go, Charlie cost us $500, first goal scorer, Jeff. That's the first thing I got written down.
Hit the fucking post right in front of us. Right in front of us.
So that was the first thing. And then also beer prices in Sydney are awesome, Jeff. Beer prices, it was pretty cheap as we went through.
We could not believe how cheap. I don't know if we were at happy hours at the pub. Beers are cheap in Sydney. I just couldn't believe it. Das, if you can't do a full preseason to kick 2 goals at halftime. I was upset at the Swans at halftime, wasn't I? I was upset. They walked off the field with 2 goals. If you are one of those people that get a bit of sensory overload or overstimulation or a little bit of anxiety, do not go to a Swans game. They run a million miles an hour at all times and are just trying to go so fast I was sitting there just like just sensory overloaded, just losing my mind. Like, what is going on? This is too fast. I mean, it came good in the third quarter, and I'm grateful, and we'll get to that. But like, oh God, it was overstimulating. Will Hayward does. Will Hayward looked fantastic. His celebration was 10 out of 10. I've got a question for the Carlton fans. I just want to ask you as a Blue supporter and all the other Blue supporters. When I saw Will kick a goal and he did the calm down Sally, like that's a soccer thing, and it's out of respect to the other team. Like, he didn't want to go off his head celebrating. He still loves Sydney. He respects Sydney. He's like, it's cool. I'm not going to over celebrate. So I love Will Hayward so much. I love him for that. I respect him so much for that. I miss him so much. But when you guys saw Curnow carry on like a pork chop after him kicking his first goal, did that piss you off at all? Because Will's done the calm down all good, and then Charlie's carried on like a pork chop, and I'm like, hang on a minute, that's got to piss the Carlton supporters off a little bit.
Doesn't piss me off. I don't care. Like, I like the theatre of it. Like, when he was kicking the bags and going up and about, that's exactly what I wanted to see. If he was respectful, I like that. Play the villain. Like, Will's the nice guy that's come over. Charlie wanted out. Be the antagonist. I think it adds to it for when we verse each other down the track. But yeah, Will looked awesome. Looks great in the navy blue. Have written here, Logan McDonald could be on sub watch. They might bring the sub back. He didn't start the game too well, Jev. And then I also wrote, Jagger has the moves. He looked good in the first half. So I thought he was moving really well. Will both very impressed with how quick he was turning. He was trying to get himself to contest. But Logan McDonald, we thought, are they going to bring back the sub? And when's Papley going to come on? Are they going to sub him on? Because Papley couldn't get on for the first 15 minutes. So those were a couple of some early notes I've got written here as well.
I want to know what the Swans concussion test is. Ollie Florent gave Isaac Heaney the Randy Orton kick to the head, kneed him in the head, nearly killed him. I think the Swans took him in the rooms and said, righto, count to 3, Isaac. And then he just went 1, 2, 3. Yep, good to go, back on. I think that is the Swans concussion test because he was nearly dead and then he came back out and was incredible after halftime. Watching it live, he's just the man. He's the fucking man. Like, when you need something, he is the fucking man. So I have the Logan McDonald note written the exact same as you. I'd vote to bring back the sub rule to sub Logan McDonald off. He was all right in the second half, but this was an emotional man before halftime when I was writing these notes.
So when we go through and you think about clubs that have come out, you've done a preseason, you've done the work. I've got the Hollands boys look more cooked than the eggs Benny I had that morning. They were blowing the Hollands boys. Elijah couldn't kick a ball. He was grubbering them across the ground. He had a chance where it was a little handball over the top from Ashton Moyer, and he didn't have the legs to pick it up, went end to end. And then I think I've got here, Malcolm Roses Jr. is the oldie Mickey O'Loughlin. So he's not quite Mickey O. He's just like a little bit subpar. Doesn't quite have the aura of Mickey O. So the oldie Mickey O. I believe that's something from your Swans chat that I wrote down. I think it's one of the funniest phrases I've ever heard.
Oh, just on your other note, you and me, I reckon it was about 3 minutes to go before halftime, and we look over, and Elijah Hollands looks like he's just finished a double marathon or a triathlon. He's standing there with his hands on his head like, and Dust's like, look how unfit that gun is. Like, he was absolutely fucked, and it showed after halftime. He didn't get another sniff. So, he's just not fit enough. I'm sorry. He just wasn't fit enough. Second half, Das.
Oh, and I've got one more.
Yeah,
I've got one more. I said, Brody Grundy's been spending too much time at Mardi Gras and not in the weight room. Got bodied by Pitnet harder than Bonnie Blue on her way to 1,000 bodies. That was one of my notes. He got destroyed by the Pittenita in the first half. He was awesome. And also I said, Jacob Wiedering would make the best janitor. He just mops everything up. He had a great game, Jacob Wiedering. We weren't sure about the ribs, but just watching live, he's just a general. We saw some really good key backs play this weekend.
Yeah,
Colin, Harris, Andrews.
Jake Wiedering was great, and I think Lewis Young had about 7 out of the 12 kicked on him in the third quarter. After halftime, Das, Errol Goulden just came out and fucking got the Swans going. It was Errol, it was McInerney, Gus Sheldrick was good. You know, it took the Swans to get going, to get Isaac Heaney going a bit. Errol was just being there live. It just felt like every score involvement had Errol's fingerprints on it. Center clearances, kick out a fullback, a kick the kick to McInerney for him to run into that open goal. Just every single one had a bit of Errol about it, and he left his mark on the game, and you just forget how good he is. You just like, because he did play 9 really good games last year, but he missed 14. But before last year, I know I say it, he could go down as the best winger of all time because he genuinely could have 10 All-Australians on the wing, but he looks like he's moved himself into the midfield. He looked jacked. He looked big, didn't he? Like he looked wider, he looked big, and he just left his fingerprint on that third quarter. Everything he touched ended up in a goal. First half, Walsh, Cripps, Hewitt, Jagger a bit. They were the better midfield. In that third quarter, they just could not stop Errol, Chad, Isaac getting going, McInerney. They just had it their own way. Chad, when we spoke to him, he goes, all I do is I just eat a shitload of pasta and a shitload of chocolate. And he just looked like an ADHD kid that's been in a straitjacket for a week. Callum Mills was right. He was like a bull in a paddock ready to go. He was just so pent up with energy. He was starting fights. He was getting into the crowd. He was running 1,000,000 miles an hour. He was just unbelievable. He left his mark on the game. He didn't have the best first half. He wasn't getting his hands on the ball. He couldn't do what he wanted. But as the game went on, he just looked so fast, so explosive, and just ready to have a big season.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, let's talk about the Avalanche. So we kicked the first 2, so up by 6 goals, like 4 goals? 6 goals, I think we were.
It was 22 points.
And then, again, our defense was cheeks, and Lewis Young shouldn't play another AFL game ever again, but that's a different story. But it all starts in the midfield. We got absolutely pantsed. As you said, it was just Errol walking out, it was Chad walking out, it was Heaney walking out, and everyone got what they wanted. Every single person. And when it was coming, it was loud. There was dead set 3 goals in like probably 45 seconds of play at one stage. Which is like, I think it was McInerney, then it was maybe Heaney, and then the Charlie one, how he just got the crumb. We're like, what is going on? Like, it was pretty cool. Like, I hated it, obviously, because we're losing, but it was just like, it was pretty cool to see. Like, it was just like, this is where if the AFL was allowed 1 timeout a half, if a coach was allowed a time, this is when you call on a timeout.
He would have been calling timeouts.
Like, we need a heat check. Like, we've got to get the boys off. Like, these guys are too hot. And yeah, it was just watching a car crash slow. It's like, we can't do anything.
Yeah.
And then Lewis Young's bringing in the defense and talking to him. I'm like, what is he telling the boys?
I think he was telling him his Subway order. He's like, righto, boys, I tried a new one. I get Italian herbs and cheese, meatballs, a little bit of salami. I was like, I don't know what the fuck he would have been saying. But yeah, as a Carlton supporter, you must be annoyed. When does a good quarter by the Swans become a historical quarter, the biggest scoring quarter since 2004 or something, or whatever the fuck it was, 75 points in a quarter? Why does it have to happen to Carlton? Why do they let good teams or good quarters become historical quarters? The best quarter a team's played in 20 years. Like, yes, you and me were there, and it was like, oh, this is cool, this is crazy, oh, they're kicking goals. And then you look up and it's like, it's 75 points. Like, the Saints only kicked 66 for the game. The Swans kicked that in about 30 minutes. Like, it was just nuts. And yeah, it must annoy you Carlton supporters.
Yeah, 100%. It's just weak. You're up, and we're like, as I said, at halftime, Jev's asshole was tighter than Lisa Rann after she hadn't been shooting any films for 15 years. Like, Jev was just sitting there. He didn't want to believe what was happening. And then we kicked the first 2, and Jev's just like, I can't believe that the Blues are in this. And then once it started to go, then Jeff got really happy, got his hat on, got the Chad boots. But yeah, essentially, we just got absolutely walked over. I do want to mention Sam Walsh looked so good. He finally had a full preseason. He wanted to win ball. He wanted to go into contests, not just play on the outside. I thought he competed really well the entire game. Carlton supporters, I did a video calling for Cripps to get dropped. Again, let's just talk about this for 2 seconds. A, what does Carlton get out of versing Richmond next week without Paddy Cripps? And 2, what does Paddy Cripps get out of playing in the VFL? Nothing. It's one of the dumbest calls. He'll be fine. He'll play on the rest of the year as he always does. But again, need more from him. Thought Ben Ainsworth had a crack. Again, I thought all the new guys played for 30 minutes. And then we all went to sleep. Everyone went to sleep. Harry Mackay, shove a rocket up his ass, slap him in the face, just get him some smelling salts. Like, what do we have to do to just fire him up? Jev, what do we have? What would you say to Harry Mackay before a game? You've got him, you pull him over, Jev. What are you saying to him before the game just to get him going? What would you say?
We'll talk about it in a minute, but I'd show him Leo Lombard. I'd show him Chad Warner. I'd show him Bailey Humphries first quarter, how fired up they were. Like, you could see the pent-up energy, and then old Harry's just doing his little loping around, the fairy shit he does. He would be the most frustrating key forward to have at your football club. He would, oh my God, it would be frustrating. He stinks.
Let's forecast quickly just for both sides next week. Hate to say it's a must-win game, season on the line, but it's a must-win game, Jev, season on the line against the Tigers. If we see it for a half, can they push through for another half? It just makes the game. I'm going again. I'm gonna kill myself by the end of the year going to these games. But I do love going to footy. It's good. You get in there. You be a bit of a nuff for a couple of hours, and you just hope it doesn't ruin your week. But this could ruin the year, Jev. This has Suey watch all over. This has Voss watch. This game is Voss watch.
Yeah.
It could be pulled. And over the other side of the coin, the Swans, looks like Brizzy might have some players out. So you must be liking the time to get them.
Just Brisbane coming. They're going to have no McCluggage, no Andrews, no Zach Bailey, no Darcy Gardner. It's a good time to get them. Of course, like, I want to see the Swans beat the Lions, their best versus our best. But if going 2-0 or just wins at this time of year are golden. And it's like, let's just be I just want us to be 2-0. Let's get to 2-0. And so we'll see. I like the Lions. Lockie Neal we're going to get to it. Lockie Neal was awesome. Will Ashcroft was awesome. They looked great. So I still don't know how they lost. But anyway, any other notes on Swans Carlton?
I have a few things, but I'm not allowed to say. I just want to say, I don't think we've roasted Carlton enough, to be honest. We were shit house, Jev.
I did I predicted this. So I did my roasting in the season prediction because I knew you were going to be this shit. I know it. I've got written, it's tough. Kane Cortland has spoken. He speaks a lot. So in the second half, I wrote, are Cripps' best years behind him? It's just sort of like, the way he plays, if he's just lost a smidgen of a step, he's probably sore, like he's gone through some battles. And just seeing how fast Chad, Errol, Isaac, like he couldn't stop it. He doesn't have the leg speed to stop it. But Kane Corns went on radio Friday morning and said it, the AFL website on Saturday, Channel 7 Saturday night, and some other pod on Sunday, and said it 4 different times before I've recorded this. So it's like, sounds like I'm taking his take. What I will give him credit for is it's like Nat 5. It looks like Nat 5, and it's such a good comparison. Nat 5 was fucking awesome, dual Brownlow medalist, best player in the comp, until he wasn't. And it's sort of like Pat Cripps, dual Brownlow medalist, he was so good for so long, but it's like, is it just like he's that sort of player that bang, it's like, damn, now that he's not as quick and he's not this, he's not that. But he might have to be your best forward, Dust. He might have to be your centre forward. What Bont did in the last quarter for the Dogs, where he just played as a forward because he was getting tagged, that might have to be Pat Cripps for you this year.
Yeah, if he's going forward, he has to have more of an impact. I did write here as well, best bets for the year, don't worry about having monster multis with like guys for touches, off-platform guys, Pitnet kick 3,
McInerney.
Roberts kick 2, McInerney 3. So this year, these are going to be these trends. We hit a couple in the weekend. We didn't hit a lot of these, but these are going to be some trends, Jev, because I reckon we're going to have a pretty good year. Let's go on to Friday night. The 3 biggest events in sporting history, Jev. The Thriller in Manila. The Malice. Who is it?
Malice in the Palace.
The Malice in the Palace. And the Piss Taker People's First. I butchered that. The Piss Taker People's First, Jev. It was an absolute piss take. We watched them warm up and we spoke to Bailey. The game honors toughness. Watching Carlton in defense and just watching how we were moving, how we were attacking the ball, these guys are like hungry hyenas with a bit of meat dangled out in front of them. Every single contest, everyone's cracking in. And I said to you on the drive home, I don't know if it's because if you're playing victorious or whether it's a little bit dry, you're used to the ball popping up. So maybe you're on your heels just a little bit more because they know the ball skids all the time at people's first. They are all just running so low to the ground and they're not waiting for the ball to pop up. So whether it's tackles, pickups, they are going a million miles an hour. So that was the very first thing from the very first bounce of the game. They got it. Our man Bear kicked first goal of the game, first goal of the year for the Suns. And I will say, don't worry about the Dusty comparisons anymore. He's dead set a mini Fev. The same mannerisms, he's just a little bit shorter, banging them from like outside 55 in the warm-up with toe pokes. There was one where he kicked it out on the full in the second quarter, and he just flicked it. He is going to be a problem, Jev.
Yeah. Hey, I've got written down here. Bailey Humphrey ended that game in about 18 minutes of footy. He's 3 in the first quarter, just ended the night. There isn't going to be a team that gets close to the Suns at people's first ask this year. No one's going to get close. When I saw the Swans on Thursday night, they looked like a track sprinting team. They were lean, ripped, lightning quick. So the Swans look like the Jamaican sprint team in a way. They are just like lean and ripped and fast. When I saw the Suns on Friday night, and we're sitting level 1, we're nice and close, they were huge. Big legs, big butts, Trac, Took, Bailey Humphrey, Noah Anderson. They look like big bullies. Add Matt Rowell into that, who's a beast. Leo Lombard looked like a beast. Sam Collins. They were just big boys. And I think they were the 2 best teams I saw all weekend, and it looked different. If you get, as I said, if you get overstimulation or anxiety, don't go watch the Swans. It is a million miles an hour, and Chad told us that. In the first half and the second half, they didn't do anything. They just started winning contested ball in the middle. But then you go and watch the Suns, and they just like have 18 one-on-ones over the field, and they're just better than you. They're just tougher, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're more talented, and they're just bigger. Ben King plays one-on-one out of the cube. Bailey Humphrey plays one-on-one 30 metres out. Trac goes one-on-one. Anderson goes one-on-one. Toot goes one-on-one. He goes one-on-one. He goes one-on-one. Leo Lombard goes one-on-one. And they just beat you up, and they were just so good. Man, imagine adding Matt Rowell into that. So gather around Swans Suns at Norwood Oval will be like watching a track team versus the wrestling team in a game of footy. It should be on Adelaide Oval, but it's not. It was just crazy.
Yeah, they were the most impressive team that we definitely saw. Like 4 quarters, they put their foot off the gas. But I don't think it's any surprise. But the bear in the square, it's a genuine thing. And I think he plays a great role that he's going to wax on more with Petrarca as the season goes on. But if you're a small half forward, it must be tough when, like you saw Jack Higgins the other night, perfect example, when you're not getting a lick of the ice cream and you're trying to find your own footy, you're running up and back. The rule is if Bailey's one-on-one, kick it to him.
Yep.
Just put it to him. Put it to the spot. He'll compete, the ball will come to ground, or he'll make something happen. And it's what a position to be in. He just roams around the forward 50 and demands it. And they put it near him. And then he makes something happen. He could have a game where he kicks 8+.
Yep.
He could kick 8+. And it could be this week against West Coast. It really could. They've got a good stretch of games. Who do they have? Who are their next few? West Coast, North, and Melbourne or something?
West Coast, Richmond, Melbourne. Yep. Before Swans at gather round.
It's going to be scary. And they've got so many mouths to feed, and no one's super hungry. Anderson was a bit
talk about the goal and us getting on the TV and Channel 7. So obviously we're mates with Bailey Humphrey. He knows where we're sitting. We're getting around him in the warm-up. He knows. Then all of a sudden he gets a free kick right in front of us, and you and me just stand up. You can hear you on the TV going, "Let's go, Bear." And he kicks it, and he turns around and he messages you the next day. He goes, "I fucking gave you boys a bit, didn't I?" And he gives an all-time celebration. He's giving us these ones. He's getting us up, doing it. And I'm like, "You are the fucking man." That was his 3rd goal in about 18 minutes. And he's just fired up. It was like they wheeled him out in a straitjacket, uncaged him, and he was just fired up. So that was good. That was such a Geelong performance, Stars. They were always losing that game. It's just in their budget. Look at their fixture. They spend their last 2 months playing bottom 8 teams at GMHBA, so there's no need to panic. But if Gold Coast are the best mid in the comp, where does Geelong come in? Because I was seriously underwhelmed. I thought Baz, Holmes and Tanner Bruin got absolutely pantsed by the Suns mids. Like, Bruin played well and he hasn't played much footy, so, like, good on him. He did play. He ended up a good stat night, hasn't played much footy. Baz wasn't great. Max Holmes wasn't, like, great. They just got smashed in there. Don't get it twisted. That game could have been 100-plus point Suns win if they wanted. They were 85 points up at one stage in the third quarter and then just took their foot off the gas so there were no injuries. If they wanted it, they could have made that 120 points probably. They were giving them the belt. I just want to know, Das, how good does Bailey Smith need to play to stay in the Bailey Smith business? Last year, he was a top 3 Brownlow favourite all year. The player, and then, you know, like, they played in the grand final, so all the off-field stuff was ignored. But if he's 75% of that this year, sort of fringe All-Australian squad, maybe squad of 44, maybe not, but you still get all the off-field stuff, the hitchhiking with randoms after the game, the disappearing after State of Origin and going on a bender. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Is that what the Dogs found out? They're like, we know how good this kid is, but we just can't be fucked with the other shit getting out of the business. So just a little watch. Just a little watch. If he isn't as good as last year, is the juice worth the squeeze in the Bailey Smith business? Because I don't know if he was a bit underdone. He came in with a calf from State of Origin, but it's sort of like, oh, and then you're getting hitchhiking after the game and all this shit. I don't know. Anyway, maybe I'm being too harsh, but it's just on watch for me.
If you're losing, everything will wear thin. When you're winning, it cures everything. So I do want to mention as well, because I'm sure some people will ask, well, they actually won the Senate clearances. So we're not saying that. So in the clearances, yes, they won 41-34. But that's just getting tapped down, dumb kick. What happens next?
Yeah.
The Suns mids were just harassing all around the ground, running. So yeah, I know it's one metric. Yes, that's a clearance, but they weren't doing anything with those clearances. So that's what we mean by how much the mids smashed them.
If Geelong think their mids won that game, beat the other mids, when they were 85 points down, as I said, could have been 100, they did not win that game. Also, Christian Petrarca does. Or do you have anything else?
Oh yeah, I just want to roast a little bit of Geelong. I just wanted to say, Nathan Buckley, who let him in the building? He hasn't watched a lick of football.
He was watching Happy Gilmore too.
Yeah, he was watching that and maths. They just went to him in the box and he was just like watching, having a giggle. Like, mate, can we get on top of the mids? And Jev, I have to say it, Oyster Mullen, don't let him get a job doing traffic after football. Jev, he'll just let everyone in. He lets everyone come through. You can't leave the ground with 4 touches. Oh. When the Suns have Took, when they've got Noah Anderson, when they've got Petrarca, you've got to stop one of them. You got to stop one of them. Jev, he'd be the worst traffic guy of all time. He wouldn't go stop to anyone. Everyone can come through. Old Oyson, don't put him in a high vis, but let's go into the main event. The star of the show, CP3 votes, 34-3, bursting through the middle, bouncing both hands. Jev, it gets me rock hard. When a player can bounce on both sides of the body, ball came out, tapped over, and he just a lunging left-handed bounce, and then the kick on the right foot. He was just elite ball use. He wasn't trying to kick this shit out of the footy and spraying him. He was just nursing everything. Absolutely everything at like 85%. He was a masterclass. It was a pleasure to watch.
I've got written down here, Petrarca played the perfect game of footy. You can't really play better than he played. Nailed all his moments. Didn't try and do too much. Like just nailed his moments. Just played like within his means. Looked fit, looked happy, looked strong, looked back to his best. He just dominated the game minute by minute, quarter by quarter, kicked his goals when he had to, gave one to Bailey Humphrey, set up a couple of goals when he had to, didn't butcher the ball by foot, which he did last year. He just, like I said, Pendle's played the perfect game of footy. I watched perfection. You really can't play better than Christian Petrarca played the other night. He did everything right all night. And it just looks simple. Like it looks like he had simplified his game and he wasn't trying to have 47 and kick 8 like he might have been some days at the Dees. It was like, just keep rocking up the contest. I'm fit. I've done the work. I've improved my kicking. And just every moment, every contest, he just got it right, Dust.
I just want to say, and again, this is where I think the Brownlow gets it wrong. You can't. So Christian Petrarca is going to get capped at 3 votes for that game. Someone else in a round will get given a best on, and they get 3 votes. It's not the same.
Yeah.
It is not the same. That is like a 10-vote game. I don't know how you do it, but like again, that can't. Someone else is going to have a 3-vote game this year, and it won't even hold a candle
So true.
to what Christian Petrarca just did. So I don't know how they fix that.
Maybe
But,
they get rid of the 1 vote and someone can get 4 and 2 and that's it or something. Like you can have a 4-vote game.
Yeah, what if they had 6? Yeah, so you got 6 to give out. You got 6 votes.
Yeah.
And they're just like, let's just give him all 6.
Yeah. Or
imagine that.
Yeah, 6 guys get 1s. Yeah, you got 6 votes to give out and it can be 3-2-1. It can be 4 and a 2, 4 and 2 1s. Yeah, it deserves more than that. Anything else you've got?
No, I just really like the stadium, Jev. The shuttle bus there, shuttle bus out. The line at Zambreros was around the stadium. That's why there wasn't any fans in the seats. It went like 3 kilometres around people's first. They love Zambreros up in Queensland.
They love Zambreros and they love Mac Andrew. All the kids just come to watch Mac Andrew. It was just great. He nearly took the mark of the millennium. And they just love Zambreros. Like, Gold Coast is awesome. It is fucking awesome, Dars. You and me stayed in a cool hotel. We got the shuttle bus there. We sat there. We had beers. The line for beers wasn't that bad. And we just, I don't know. I just found Gold Coast. I would love to play up there. Oh. I know the Suns players sometimes want to play in front of 90,000 at the G or whatever, but it's like, man, that is a good lifestyle up there. The beaches, Burleigh, like where they all live and stuff. That was fucking cool, man.
That old guy that was sitting next to it, just a Suns fan. He jumped on about 2 years in. He was there by himself. Would have been about 50 odd. He was just riding every Suns goal. He was good.
Having a beer by himself, loving it.
Now, we have to quickly mention before we move on, we had a career day. We had a career day on the punt, Jev. We almost had a career week. We were so close to breaking open, but we had a career day. There was some big multis in that game, Jev, and me and you were just carrying on like pork chops.
I don't want to give out too much gambling advice, but now PointsBet have got the individual single touches. So, like 15, 16, 17, 18. Pick your players you think are going to play well. And then put all their possessions when they get to like $2, $2.50. So I had Blitzarv, whatever he paid for $2. I think it was 15. I had Max Holmes. He was $2 for 29. I had Petrarca in there. I had Bailey Humphrey for goals in there. I had Took in there. And they all just went over their lines +1. So you don't always go and like, you might stack 10 players to have their $1.20 at touches. It's more like pick 5 at their all $2 mark. So we did that. We won 800 on that. Then I did one of those ones right before the game started, $10. I just picked all these legs, him. It was paying 100 to 1 Das, and it hit in the last minute, a Bailey Smith touch. We won $1,000, $800, and we backed Bailey Humphrey for the first. We won about 2.2K on that game, Das, and it was nice to look in the account. I think we turned about $60 into 2.2K. That was good betting, that one.
Yeah, Jeff, as I said, it was an unbelievable game. I really can't wait to go back up there and watch more Suns football. It's going to be bell to ass up there on People's First. Now, I need to quickly duck out. Jev, do you want to have a quick chat with Caden McDonald?
I'll chat to Caden McDonald. You go. I'll see you in about 10 minutes or something, Das.
All right, mate. We'll see you soon.
But joining us now, a bloke that is mates with American rappers, kicked goals with AFL football players, known Dees supporter, Caden McDonald. Cadas, how are you, brother?
Great. Travelling well. Hopefully my stocks have soared since bumping into Sway Lee last night. But, travelling well. Thanks for having me.
Tell me about Sway Lee. Was he a good guy? He's short. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm not taller than a lot of people, but oh my God. Like, I know that the kids say aura these days, but meeting the man, there is a different sort of energy. He's almost like alien-like in the vibes I was getting. Like, he just lives on a different planet to you or I. Or maybe not you, but definitely me. He lives on a different planet. That man has just a confidence and an aura, and it's pretty cool to bump into the great man.
I love that. All right, let's talk about Christian Petrarca. I just want to know your emotions. How are you feeling? How'd you watch it? Were you watching it sad as a Melbourne supporter or happy as a Trac fan?
Yeah, mixed emotions. Definitely every emotion. So, like, there's one part of you that goes, why couldn't he be a D for life? Like, this is one of the
Yeah.
best players we've ever had come through the doors at the club. I was not under any illusions throughout his whole career. Like, he felt like a franchise player. It felt like,
Yeah.
the club that I've supported all my life. We never had superstars, and it almost
Yeah.
felt like we didn't at times deserved the superstar, but we had him. So I loved watching him do his thing for the last few years. But um, obviously, he wanted out a couple of years ago from the Melbourne Footy Club. We held him to his contract. It got lovey dovey for the start of 2025, and then it turned sour. And that was it. Like, it literally felt like the end of a relationship. It felt like the storyline, the era had concluded. Simon Goodwin departed the footy club. Clary was departing. There was a lot of change. And to sort of go glass half full and back the club in, to get on the front foot, albeit maybe a year too late, but still cash in on Trac's assets at that time and future proof your club. It's short term pain because Trac's going to pop. He's going to have a year and a half, a 2 year patch where he's the best player in the comp. Um, he's going to pop. It's going to be tough to watch. But then I think in a couple of years, maybe a slight decline, and you see Windsor, Langford, Lindsay um, start to bubble away. So it's short term pain, hopefully long term gain. But man, what a performance that was. And at the end of the day, like, he was one of my favorite players for 10, 12 years. I just want to see the best for him. Like, I want Track and Clary to fulfill their potential. I want at their end of their career to have Premiership Norm Smith and Brownlows. And I used to get frustrated that at the D's, Track and Clary would steal votes off each other.
Yeah.
So they'd never win the Brownlow, even though, like, Clary in 2021 and 2022 was one of the best players in
Yeah.
the comp. Track in 2020 and 2024, maybe it was four. One of the other years, he was one of the best players, but they just steal too many votes off each other. So I'd love both of them to pinch one because, yeah, I just want them to fulfill what they were meant to be when they got drafted.
It's just hearing you speak about it is crazy. Like Track and Clary, after you won that premiership, walking into 22, were basically number one and number two best players in the competition with Bontempelli. And yeah, as you said, now it's over. But and then Clayton Oliver for GWS. We're about to touch on GWS. Like, he played the perfect game for what they needed him to do. He was just back to Clary of old, 19 contested possessions, whatever it was. How'd you watch that one?
Yeah, so I feel like the sentiment from the footy, like the D's supporters, is there's a little bit of bitterness towards Track, given I don't really hold it, but given like the brand Petrarca and potentially it felt like he got a bit big for his boots, and but there's just like, you won't really see Melbourne supporters that don't love Clary. So like, as much as during times of supporting Track, it felt like he was this franchise player that we had for a little bit. Clary felt like a Melbourne player, like a rusted on Melbourne Football Club footballer. Yeah, weird seeing him play for GWS. It's such a great move by them. Like, obviously they've got some injuries in the midfield, but it didn't look like they missed a beat. And then,
Yep.
I don't know. He was just doing what we know he can do. Like, the way he hunts the ball is ridiculous. His speed with his handballs, like, he just, everyone says he chucks sometimes, but he just flicks it on or just
Yep.
finds a way to get it out of the contest to release them. And obviously they're a quick team once they get out of that first contest, which he was helping them with. But then when he started kicking him out of his ass from the bloody boundary line on the left, I was like, this is getting ridiculous. Like, I've seen Track have 36 and kick three, and now Clary's kicking him from the canteen. So that's when I was like, I've had enough of footy this week. And
Yeah, I
I
don't
went,
blame you.
I went and hung out with Sway Lee after that.
Yeah, exactly. I just like, as a Melbourne supporter, they're probably the only losers out of this weekend because those two couldn't have played any. There was a couple of losers. They could not have played any better, those two. Oh, it was just unbelievable. So just Melbourne as a whole, what are your expectations this year? Is it we still get all Australian Gorn? Cozzy looks like a top 5 player in the comp, but we're probably only going to win 6-7 games. Or you think you're going to be better than that?
I've got no idea. Like, we didn't even get a practice match. We played 2.5 quarters and the lightning kicked in. We looked good across the preseason. It looks like Langford is ready to claim the midfield. It looks like Windsor's ready to pop. But apart from that, like, there's experience in Cozzy. Like, he's a genuine AFL midfielder now. Trent Rivers is a genuine AFL midfielder. Tom Sparrow's like a seasoned veteran. Viney, when he's back's a seasoned veteran. And then Jack Steele adds like that experience and class. So as much as it's Langford and Windsor's midfield now, it feels like they've got a lot of support from experience around them. Um, I've seen poor teams name wise have good game plans and good systems and become good teams. So I think it almost comes down to the coaching and how Kingy rallies them and if his philosophy actually stacks up in season 2026. I think that's probably plays a bigger factor than the personnel because I think the personnel's okay. Like it's a little bit raw in the forward line, a little bit raw in defence. Like Disco Turner, I think's he's going to have a good AFL career. Harrison Petty's a very reliable, big-bodied defender. Jake Lever's still down back, so it's an okay list. But I've seen okay lists make top eights before, so it just comes down to the coaching. Um, my tip for the D's in 2026 is we'll have a similar year to last year. I'm hoping we're a little bit better because we lost like 6 games by a kick and a half last season. We were pretty much in every game. And that's
Yep.
why ultimately the changes happened because we probably felt like we deserved to finish a bit better than what we did last year. But I'm tipping like, I don't know, between 12th and 10th. But with a young group and a new coach, that'll feel like the funnest year ever. When
Yep.
finishing, 13th or 14th last year, similar on the ladder, when we had expectations, felt so disappointing. So I feel
Yep.
like it's just a bit of a free hit, and yeah, I can't really see them pushing the top sides, but hopefully we're in it, and yeah, blood some young kids as well.
I I cannot wait to watch Cozzy play. I was
Yeah,
at that
yeah.
Swans game last year at the MCG when he kicked 5-4. It was the most talented game I've ever seen. He's going to be must watch this year, isn't he? And just watching your kids play midfield, I'm sure you cannot wait.
Yeah, it'll be great. And then I'll touch on Cos in a sec, but just jumping off like the kids thing, like Van Royen feels like he's physically ready to go. I'm bullish on Jefferson. Like, I think every young forward has moments where they look a bit uncoordinated at times, but he's got this really natural football nous in and around the forward 50. And he doesn't like he's a little bit lighter, but he does have the capacity to crash a pack, which I think people knock him for, but I've seen him fly for a couple of marks, which has impressed me. But then, yeah, on Cos, like it gets mistaken. He had 25 and kicked five in multiple games last year,
Yep.
and everyone's like, "Oh, it's pretty good for a small forward." And I'm like, "No, he's a midfielder. Like
Yep.
that's a midfield game. Like people get mistaken that he's a small forward. He's a genuine like full time mid now that rests a little bit forward. And yeah, like I think in a few years he won't be spoken about as, one of the best small forwards in the comp. I think he'll be spoken about as one of the best players in the comp. If he's not already, like I think there's been a couple of lists, like a Kane Corns or whatnot that have come out, and he's in and around the top 15, pushing to the top 10. It's almost like, yeah, it's gonna. Well, it's him and Naz this weekend, like two midfielders that can go forward,
Yep.
dynamic, explosive, can take a mark, like differing heights, but like how good is that going to be to watch on
Yep.
Sunday? Two sort of uh, mediocre, irrelevant sides, but have got a couple of A graders that'll make it must-watch viewing this
The
weekend.
Saints were extremely underwhelming last night. We've already touched on that game. Jack Steele is going to have something in store for them, isn't he? Like he's going to want to. He's going to do whatever he can to win this game, and hopefully he's going to beat up a few on the way.
Imagine if we're, the conversation this time next week is he's done a track. He sort of come out,
Yeah, so true.
add 36, kicks him from the boundary. Well, what I've loved about Jack Steele across the preseason in the quarter and a half that we got to watch in Ballarat, but like, obviously watching a couple of the match sims and whatnot, is every highlight you see it's Windsor and he's bursting through and taking on three and kicking it from 50. But every Windsor highlight, if you watch, Jack still feeds it to him.
Yeah,
And it's like,
yeah,
oh my God, like what a chess piece to bring in. Like obviously Track was leaving and we were bringing in like a lot of talent off the back of that, but we're moving Clary out for not a lot. So to sort of reverse engineer, get rid of Clary for Jack Steele, but then you look across the park, it's potentially a like for like. I think Clary at his best is probably better than Steele at his best, but you know, at this point in time in their career, it feels like a bit of a like for like. It could be a masterstroke, but at the very least, it'll be so good for those young midfielders, set up their development, add a bit of experience around them. And yeah, I love that player that comes to a new club and has a chip on the shoulder for 12 months, like wants to earn the respect from their new teammate, but also wants to show their old club that they still had a capacity to impact. So I'm excited. At the very least, he's just like this cool, calm head. Every time he touches it, he doesn't make a mistake, and he feeds like our emerging superstars. So I'm super excited by Jack Steele, and he's beautiful.
It's perfect way to end this, basically. Great final take. Thanks for joining us, Chaos. You got any quick, real hot takes after opening round? Anything that really caught your eye?
Oh, hot takes. Well, the Suns look like they're going to win 3 premierships in a row.
Yep.
Hopefully the Cats are washed, but I get the feeling they'll build. Really worried about the Blues. Really worried about the Tigers. That was like, I don't know. The Pies had a mulligan a couple of years ago in opening round and had a very good season. Jeez, like when you're looking for some positives to take away from the game, that capitulation is concerning. So I'm a bit worried about the Baggers.
Yeah. Trust me, we are too. Well, I am. Das, I don't know how positive he is. We'll get to it, but thanks for joining us, mate. We appreciate it. We love the Dees. I love touching on the Dees. It's good to speak to Dees. There's not that many of you around. I'm not going to lie. When I go to a Dees game, it's like heaven's waiting room. There's some old people there. Yeah, some old souls there. So it's good to see a young Dees supporter.
That was a great chat, Jev. That was a great chat.
Thank you,
He's
sir.
a good guy.
He's a great guy. He's just a Melbourne supporter. He still loves Trac. He still loves Clary. It's good to see him on other teams. Yeah, it was good.
All right, I know you got a lot of notes here. So there's a big sound, Jev. The Giants are big winners by 27 points. The game started hotter than our potato and gravy up at the Gabba because that was hot. There was 13 goals in the first quarter. I'll let you roast first, but I'll tell you what, all the warts were on show for the Hawks. All of them. They were all on show, so take it away.
I just want to know, because that was Hawthorn's best side minus Will Day. He's the list is fit and everyone's up for selection except for Will Day. Do they actually think they can win a premiership with Harry Morrison, Josh Ward, Finn McGuinness, Sam Butler, Massimo? I'll be even more ruthless. Mabior Chol, Mitch Lewis. Is there any buyer's remorse on Josh Weddle, who had 9 kicked on him on that weekend? I just don't see it. I've never seen it, and everyone knows it. I just don't see it. I've never seen it. The Swans realise they can't win the premiership with a forward line of Hayden McLean, Logan McDonald, Joel Amardi. Want to know how we realised it? Because we kept getting belted grand final days with that as our key forward. So we've gone and got Charlie Curnow. How long till the Hawks realise they are not winning the premiership with Mitch Lewis, Mabior Chol and Jack Gunston? Or am I breaking news to them? Am I the one that's like letting them know right now that you are not winning the premiership with that as your forward line? I feel like it's Jai Newcomb or bust to me. And this is my gripe with drafting a small forward at pick 5 when you clearly need midfielders. Yes, Nick Watson does some freaky things. He had 5 or 6 moments in that game that only him on the planet can do. And they were amazing. They were highlight. They looked great on Instagram. But when it came to winning this football game, it meant fuck all what he did. And he had no say on it. Small forwards are icing on the cake. And Hawthorn just don't have the cake. So I think they are bang on average. Bang on average. It's Jai Newcomb or bust. And you know I'm a seller. Their line went from 15.5. I took the under. It went down to 14.5, and I still took the under. I am a seller. I know they're going to win games. They've got a good back 6, even though Grew, Hogan, and Jake Stringer gave them the absolute belt. Like, absolute belt to us. And, you know, they kick goals, whatever. But no, thank you. Line through the Hawks for the premiership for me. They are not good enough to us.
If they want to be one of the best defenses in the league, they want to have to tighten up because this is a Giants side that had 8 starters out and they ran all over them. And I'm all for talking shit. I think it's great. But talk a bit of shit when you've won a few games this year. If you're talking shit from the year before, it's just been too much time. So, again, I love that Guinea puts himself out there, right for the picking, but I don't think there was much talking out there. Actually, we know there wasn't much talking out on the field. It was zip tight.
I've got
He
the
didn't want to
exact
talk.
same notes here.
Didn't want to talk much shit out there, but they got smacked. Absolutely smacked. When the game was hot, they tried to go fire with fire, and they just couldn't keep up. Jake Stringer got out in front. Riccardi got out in front. They just got so many different mouths that they can feed. And I thought with, look, Darcy Jones out, Chuck Kelly out, Tom Green, are they going to look a little bit slower? Are they going to have to try and bash through a little bit more? They were walking through. Callum Brown, all these guys are so fit. I'd love to know what preseason, like how many Ks they're doing. We should probably ask Finn, because Finn looked awesome. He's just, we got to see him the night before, 2 days before. We had a really good chat with him. He's the local produce, one of the best kids of all time. Loves his milkshakes, loves his steaks, and he loves his left foot, Jev. They're his top 3 things. If that was on his tombstone, milkshakes, steaks, and my left peg.
And
Finn
Bondi
Callahan.
Beach, and he loves going to Bondi Beach.
He loves the Bondi Beach. He's a machine. Isn't it weird when you can talk to someone and they're just like a normal guy and like really nice and bubbly, and then they just turn into like killer mode. You watch him when he's out there.
Adonis.
He's a
Standing
maniac.
next to him, he's a fucking Adonis.
Yeah. Oh, he towers over me. I was looking up for him like this. I'm only little, but they were so impressive. Cornelio Jev, he's finally fit again. He's
lean.
Yeah.
Did he cut out the lasagna? Was it just like sacrifice saying you love? He just wrote lasagna and put a line through it. He looked lean.
And before I'll let you jump in with the rest of them, but it's such a good look. I feel when you can get your captain, when they can take the game by the scruff and or they can just get involved a lot more. That's why I always found it weird if a key defender was a captain. Then again, Harris Andrews does it better than anyone. But I feel if you're struggling to have an impact on the game, it's hard to get around the boys. And Toby's done it better than anyone, having to play the half-forward role, because when he kicks a goal, he impacts and he gets the team up and about. But just him around the ball, him being able to get his hands on it, him being able to have just more of an impact, more of a say, get into players a little bit more, I loved it. I loved the way he looked. When he started his career, he was getting like 30 at will whenever he wanted. Yep. He's just an elite footballer. I love that move to put him in the middle, and I'm sure that the players like rally around that. Imagine him at stoppage is just like, oh, come on, Finn, let's go now. You know what I mean? Like he'd be fantastic to play with and alongside. So I loved him in the middle, and I couldn't have been more impressed. They were like my most impressed this week.
Yeah. Speaking of Jack Ginnivan, I just want people's opinions on this. Do you you sort of touched on it, but I'm just going to read the notes I've got written here, and I want people's opinion on this. Do you think if you're going to put yourself out there and do more in the media and have a podcast and make public comments like the Giants are ripe for the picking, you should be brash and vocal on the thoughts? You should be brash and vocal on the field? Your thoughts, Darcy? If you're going to do a lot of talking outside of the field, you should be one of those guys that have something to say on the field. Toby Green does that. He speaks on podcasts, but he also speaks on the field. He talks shit on pods and he talks shit on the field. Do you think that is sort of how it goes?
I think so. Walk the walk, talk the talk.
Because we received a text message saying little Jackie boy was like a church mouse out there today, did not say a word all game. Then chirped Tobes when he got the softest 50-metre penalty all time when the Hawks were 30 points down. I just found that interesting, Das. I just found if you're going to make comments for the game and then you're going to basically put a muzzle on all game, I don't know. Maybe I'm the weird one. I'll just love some people's opinions on this. I got to give GWS some love, Das. Jack Ginnivan said they were right for the picking, and they were. They didn't have Aaron Cadman, Sam Taylor, Toby Bedford, Brent Daniels, Lee Callier, and then we won't see Tom Green, Darcy Jones, and Josh Kelly this year. And they just gave Hawthorn the fucking belt. They beat the shit out of them in every way they wanted.
Did they what? You're overheating. That's how good this is.
I'll just go on and off. It is so hot in here, man. Can you write 51?
45-51.
Clayton Oliver looked fantastic. 19 contested possessions. It was at the Clary of old. Jaden Laverde played his role perfectly. Second year, Jake Stringer looked back to his absolute best. GWS feels like AFL's rehab clinic. Kingsley doesn't care what your personality or your past is. As long as you work hard, train hard, rock up every day and get better, you'll fit right in. No one knows who the fuck you are in Sydney. They all live in Bondi and Coogee Beach on the beach, and they all are best mates hanging out every night, and they just rock up, they get their work done, they go home, no one knows who they are, they all go out for dinner together. It just feels like the perfect place to go to rehab your image. Clayton Oliver, Jake Stringer, Laverde, they just looked refreshed. They looked better. They looked happy. Contract year Stringer, he was just great. Oh, I was so impressed by the Giants. This is why I'll never quit on the Giants, because I just know they train harder than other clubs. I would love to watch the Giants train and the Blues train. The Blues run out of gas after every halftime every year. The Giants just get better. So I would love to know the standards. Tobes obviously has the standards set there. Tobes and Kingsley have their finger on the pulse, and they all just rock up, work fucking hard, and they go home, they go to Bondi Beach and stuff. And yeah, they're anonymous there. No one knows who the fuck they are. So I was just so impressed.
How good is that's a perfect Jake Stringer game. 14 disposals, 5 goals, 4.
All on Josh Weddle.
The goals are there. I'm having a ping. Yeah. When he's on, he's so good to watch.
Yeah.
Let's pray he gets through a full season. Because when he's playing with confidence, he's a scary, scary player. Yeah. And out of contract, I believe, as well. So, yeah, Hawks was so underwhelming. They couldn't match it. The game got out to 30 points, and it's like, all right, what's Sam Mitchell got in store? Again, we think Sam Mitchell's a great coach. Like, all right, well, what's he going to do? And there just wasn't another kick. They just didn't have another gear on that game. It's like, all right, we're done. It's like in the NBA, like you pull your starters. It's like, fuck, we can't do anything here. Nothing's working. They're just all over the top of it. So again, opening round, I'm so intrigued to see these teams go on, rebound. Are we going to see the Giants do this again? Are they going to be able to maintain that frantic pressure? Because it was quick. I don't know how. Could you play a full season at that pace, Jev?
Oh man,
is it sustainable? It was pretty ruthless. So very interesting to see how they go on. Again, the Hawks, they are going to want to have to rebound off that because that was very, very underwhelming. Let's get into Saturday night. How the hell did the Dogs win?
I still have no idea how the Dogs won.
Because Brisbane were awesome. Lachie Neale looked like prime Lachie Neale, as he always has been. No distractions, Neale, is what they're saying.
Bro's getting 10 hours sleep a night. Bachelor Lachie Neale is in good nick.
Will Ashcroft has put on about 7 kilos of muscle. I think he said he looks too big. His glutes, some of their work in tight is like they're just so much better than other players in the AFL. Like they're just on a different level. Their first touch ball use. We have to add another player into the butchery. Brucey Revel, our man. You know when you miss a kick, Jev, and you watch it play. It's like when the sign goes, how they always go over to Cripper. It's like, fuck. Like that. Brucey Revel had about 15 of them, I reckon, Jev. Couple off the shin. There was some players on. Just try to kick one over the top. Brisbane were awesome. Harris Andrews was awesome. The midfield was great. Charlie Cameron was kicking goals. Logan Morris was in everything. On a night like this, I want to stay. His song's so good. He's a megastar. No one in the crowd was louder than when Logan got the ball, which I found very interesting. So they love him. He's the cold figure. And the Dogs just get it done. There's Bond, Butterick, and blokes around the edges, and Ed Richards. We'll get on to Ed, but what a crazy game. I can't believe they lost.
Yeah. Maybe I need to rewatch the game on TV, but being at the ground, it felt like the Lions were never losing until they did. But we watched Chris Fagan's press conference, and he said it was the 2 goals they kicked right at the end of the third quarter, and then the Dogs kicked 7 goals, 1 in the last quarter, and the Lions kicked 3 goals, 7, and they stole it. They just stole it. And yes, the Lions looked great all night, fit, strong, fast, everything. But is this the first sign of a little loss of hunger and ruthlessness? Or is it just week one, great game, bad beat sort of thing? You know, is the hunger still there? I can't tell you how good Harris Andrews is live. Like, for anyone listening, you cannot get past him. He does not get beaten. We've seen the last 3 games of football he's played live. 2 prelim, grand final, and then that. He hasn't looked like the ball getting past him or losing a contest. Just stands where he wants and just gets a fist to everything. Knowing the Swans get the Lions next week without Harris Andrews, without Zach Bailey, without Hugh McCluggage, I'm not complaining because they're going to be pissed off they lost, and I'm happy they're getting them without those guys for sure.
Yeah, as you would be. Let's talk about Ed Richards, Ready Steady Eddie. He's up there with one of the classiest players in the AFL. I said in our season preview that I think 2 players on your pyramid, Jev, that are just going to skyrocket. It's going to be Zach Bailey, who did start hot, then was really quiet, and Ed Richards. And I think let's play a game all year, a game of who would you rather, Ed or Zach Bailey. This week, of course, I'm going to buy Ed Richards. Our man, we messaged him after the game. He's actually a ripper, Jev. But he was kicking balls 40 metres at my nose height.
Yeah.
Like lacing guys out. He was terrific. Bailey Williams had an almost day. Like kicked almost goal of the year. But he hit the post twice. He kicked a few out in the full. But Connor Butterick was just cracking in, chatting to Bear last year. He said he's just a workhorse and just goes. And that's exactly what he did.
Yep.
When you think of like Taylor Dray out, let's get Connor Butterick in, who's probably a little bit more offensive and probably because he can hit the scoreboard, kick some goals in the finals. But he's also just obviously a lot younger, but he goes. He's just got that. He's just a perfect fit for the Dogs. It just makes you think that if they can get just another defensive player in the offseason and then they just slide Zach Butters in there.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Then we're talking. Like, imagine like Oscar Baker out, Zach Butters in.
Yep.
A bloke that makes everything look so tough to a bloke that makes everything look so easy.
Yeah.
And he's tough. But it was just a great game of footy. And there's nothing better than being a mutual. We were just there. We're like, this is awesome. It's a great stadium. The game was quick. The weather was perfect. It was a little bit warm. But I don't really have any roasting to do on the Lions because I genuinely thought that they were winning. I thought they played really well. It was just lapses in the middle. The Dogs just got them on transition. So congrats to the Dogs.
Congrats.
Like Lions that you haven't lost any faith in me. I still think that they're going to be an unbelievable side. Actually, they sort of have a little bit now because they got some outs, which is going to be tough. Let's see how they rally. Like they got they do have a tough draw, but we still think they're going to win 20 games. But without Harris Andrews and a couple other pieces, it's going to be tough.
When I watch the Dogs, Das, I know David King always says this, but they go as their bottom 6 go. When you see them live, you see Artie Jones, Lockie Jacks, Oscar Baker, Michael Selwood, Jordan Croft, Cooper Hines. It can be a bit underwhelming, but watching Bont and Ed Richards go to work, Bont got the Josh Dunkley treatment, and Dunkley did a great job, as he always does. But Bont still walked off with 3, and his third was the best of the lot. The set shot to basically keep them in front just went back and buried the captain's goal he had to kick. But I cannot believe how good Ed Richards is, and in person. He is just a freak talent. Lightning quick, left footer, tough, tackle breaker, leg driver, goal kicker. He's so good. We had the question. I know you said it before. You're doing Zach Bailey, Ed Richards. Start one, bench one, cut one. Ed Richards, Zach Bailey, Errol Goulden. I'd love to know how people answer this question. There's no wrong answer. There's no right answer. I'm obviously starting Errol Goulden, and then I don't know. I don't want to cut the other 2. I'm probably cutting Zach Bailey, but the bloke could have kicked 10 grand final day. Ed Richards probably had cut. I don't know. So I'd love to know. Some people might cut Errol, and I wouldn't get pissed off at them. So they're like superstars of this competition, those 3.
Every team needs one of them.
Yes.
You gotta have one of those guys that can just break a game open and can do something different.
Lightning
I thought
quick,
Zach Bailey,
beautiful
if
kicks.
he kicked that second goal early, might have changed like his game because he was pretty quiet after that. But God, they moved so well. The Gabba would be so good to play at. I think Brisbane are going to be fine. Levi Ashcroft thought he had a really good game.
Yeah, he looked good.
So Zorko demands the ball.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where he is, he hovers. Brisbane player will get it. If they look him bored and they see him, they just kick it straight to him. He just demands it, and he will just go. His foot skills, like, how many more years can he play?
Oh, man. It's crazy.
Like another 3?
He's got nothing else to do. He just is all he does.
Yeah.
He just loves it.
Yeah. He was great.
Great
Liver
game of
cracked
footy.
in.
2 big dogs. Das, I was a little underwhelmed by Sam Darcy. I don't know if he saw. He just played a weird game. He still left his mark on the game. Did he end up with 2 or 3?
2 goals, 2.
Yeah, like he was okay. Kicked a nice goal. Missed a shocker. He still left a mark of the game, but I just expected a bit more. Maybe it was Harris Andrews and how good Harris Andrews is. So I'm on watch on Sam Darcy. They get the Giants next week, Saturday day. That 12:15 Saturday Marvel game. That will be points. Whenever the Dogs play in that game, it is points. So I'm super keen to see how Sam Darcy plays.
The biggest winner for this week is Sam McClure saying that Charlie Cameron's an A-grader. He was playing like a bloody A-grader, I'll tell you that much.
Did Sam McClure have some mail that we didn't have? He
Like
looked
tackling,
good. He looked
tackling, running, pressure.
He just made that one mistake right in front of us. He took a mark. He could have gone back and had a shot for his 5th, and he tried to handball over the top, and the man on the mark spoiled it. Like, that was the sealer right there. That's when they were like 28 points up. Looked like it was going to be a 50-point win, and they lost from there. So, yeah, crazy game, Das.
Do we talk about the heartbreak at the Gabba?
Oh, yeah, go on.
Yeah, so we won a bit on again, this isn't financial advice, but we obviously won a bit on the Gold Coast game. Like, let's have a stab at a multi each. So we put on a 6-legger, and the Hawthorn legs got up, and all we needed at the end, we needed Cameron to kick 2. And we got told, a guy behind us said he's a bit underdone. And he looked at it, and I'm like, well, that's all right. He'll play deep forward. Only played deep forward for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Kicked 1. Me and you were like, for all the chocolates. Come on. We need for 1 more for about 4.5. Collect. Toe pokes 1 2 meters out, just misses. Thought he had another chance. Could have wheeled around, went to give it off to Charlie, goes up the other end. And again, this is never the player's fault. We'll never be one to message a play because this is on us. I should have known that. We shouldn't have put him in the multi. But being there riding for the last 2 minutes was heart in the throat. Heart in the throat. It would have been an all-time collect. Would have been an all-time week on the road for opening round, Jev. We almost bled the books. We almost lost our sponsorship with PointsBet. We were this close. But it was an awesome bet.
We'll end the roast with this, Das. Cameron and I kick you 2 cost us $4,500. That is the Sunday roast, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. First one. I know this is getting released Monday, Arvo. We've covered all the games. What a week, Das. Cannot wait. Cheers, brothers.
Well, yeah, we'll be back on the pod. Make sure you like, subscribe, everything, and we'll see you soon. On air, out this week. We sort of know who the guest is. Stay tuned.
See you, boss.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.